Hi everyone, my name's Alexandra Howard. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of the Free State in Central South Africa. And a big thanks for the opportunity to present a paper for the BAT Advent Calendar this festive season. So I'm cheating a little bit because I was one of the co-authors on this paper, which was a great opportunity and a privilege. But also, I presented this paper at a conference earlier this year, so please excuse that I'll be using some of the slides that I will try to show you. But the paper I'll be talking about is titled The Integrative Taxonomic Analysis of New Collections from the Central Angolan Highlands Resolves the Taxonomy of African Pipistrellid Bats on a Continental Scale. So big thanks to the PI and my supervisor, Peter Taylor, who is the first author and keeps allowing me to be a part of this paper and present it. But the reason why it's so exciting, and hopefully many of you will go read it and watch this, the paper is open access on the Zoological Journal of the Linnaean Society, and it came out in October this year. But we described a new species, the low-felt serotine bat, Neremesia shanzeni, after the low-felt of Eswatini. And this is the first new animal species to be discovered in Eswatini and given a Siswati name. Paradoxically, this is where people get a bit confused, but this discovery was sparked because of the biodiversity expeditions into the central highlands of Angola between 2016 and 2019 under the patronage of the Angolan government, and a big thanks to the Wild Bird Trust and the Nat Geo Okavango Wilderness Project. So many different scientists and field assistants and students were working in the basically at the source of the mighty Okavango, and Neremesia and Chentia's serotine bat was described from Angola in the 1900s in 1900, and it's notoriously difficult to identify in the field. And after comparing these high-felt serotine bats with the lowland savanna bats in our museums, the co-authors showed them to be different enough to warrant a new species description, making Enchantia's bat an endemic species to the central and western highlands of Angola. The other great thing that I think is important about this paper is not just showing the importance of mountains as centers of endemism and the need for integrative taxonomy and comparative methods, but the fact that all the co-authors work in Africa and are part of African institutions, and that expertise is in the global south. So I'm not going to read the abstract. I'm already going over time. But as I said, I think we often neglect mountains as centers of endemism, and we know many bat genera have unresolved taxonomies, and Africa is so spoiled with such high numbers of diversity, not just in pipistrellid bats, but many other bat genera as well. And I think a lot of the co-authors were already suspicious because Anchitia serotine had such a wide-ranging distribution from southern Africa up into central and west Africa. And then we often know that that's a landmine for possibly new species. And yes, as I said, the importance of integrative methods. So a big thank you to Dr. Lee Richards at Durban Museum, Dr. Teresa Kearney at Ditson Natural History Museum, as well as Prof. Wanda Makota's lab at University of Pretoria, enabled us to identify the fieldwork collections and do the morphometric analysis, take all the external and cranial dental variables, but as well as use 3 different mitochondrial gene regions for molecular and phylogenetic analysis, and look at bacular morphology, which I'm sure many of us agree is the way to go for taxonomically difficult groups. And I can now finally skip over the PCA results that I tried to describe in the conference, but basically the PCA show that there's a significant difference in the skull size and the skull shape, not just between the Angolan and low-felt serotines, but as well as other pipistrellid bats from southern Africa. I can show you if we switch around. Will it let me switch? No. But there is anterior premolars, the PCAs I mentioned, as well as the bacular morphology is different. And basically, taxonomic conclusions is a new species described by all the co-authors with the common name of the low-felt serotine after in the Vespertilionidae family, which was described by Gray in 1821, and the Neuromucia genera described by Roberts in 1926. And the holotype is in the Durban Natural Science Museum, collected by one of my supervisors, Prof. Aramonijam, already in 2005, from the Mumbaluzi River in the northeastern low-felt savanna region of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. And the common name, as many of you have guessed, is reference to the specific low-felt, this low-lying savanna habitat, as Anchentii in Angola is only known from over 1,000-meter elevations above sea level. And I think I'd really love everyone to visit, and I would still love to go to Angola, but there are many unsurveyed regions in Africa that need taxonomic and ecological and scientific surveying. And the funny story I promised Lewis was how I got involved is, of course, because of COVID lockdown. I was cleaning skulls from this expedition for Dr. Dawn Corey Toussaint, who kindly took me on. And this actually led to the first author, Prof. Peter Taylor, offering me a PhD and learning a lot by helping with corrections and revisions for this paper. Obviously, the multiple lines of evidence need a lot of expertise. And I must give a big thanks to the reviewers and the authorship team, as well as everyone allowing me to present this paper. And a big thanks to the co-authors, the funders, and the institutions, as of course this work isn't possible without a lot of support. So I hope you enjoy the paper.